Very good morning to all our viewers. It was a nice and misty morning this morning, but we're out and about. Myself and Neil, we're going to slowly head south to those big wild areas again, those big open clearings. We're going to go and try and see if we can maybe relocate or find the Talamati pride. One of the viewers asked for lion cubs, so that's going to be our goal this morning. Head down there, try and find the Talamatis, maybe get lucky with Okutula or Natlangula, the leopards. Let's just go and see what we can see.
We're following this big bull elephant as he just grazes through this open clearing. You can see he's got a mouthful of grass and eating quite a lot of grass as he moves through here. It's quite typical of this time of year to see elephants focusing more on grasses, and then as winter approaches and a lot of these grasses start to die off, they'll start to put all their focus back onto the trees. They'll start to uproot the trees, eating the roots, eating the leaves that they can't reach on top of those trees, and just start to focus on trees more in general. It's quite fascinating to see how their feeding changes throughout the year.
Guys, what we got over here is a rhino midden. This midden belongs to a male white rhino. So the average white rhino in this area has probably about maybe between 15 and 30 of these middens in his territory. So he defends that territory quite vigorously. So what he does is you'll often find these middens, it's a midden, M-I-D-D-E-N, along these roads. So he comes and he defecates in this pile of dung over here. So he defecates and then he takes his back legs and he breaks it up. And what he does is he puts that on the bottom of his feet, and then he walks from one midden to the other midden. And I always like to explain it, it's like a fence with fence posts. So this is the fence post, he defecates, he breaks it up here, and then he walks from this midden to the next, and he creates an invisible boundary of scent, like a fence. Then does his whole territory like that, and if a female is in the area and wants to get his attention, she will then pick up that scent trail and follow that scent trail to the midden. She will then defecate around the midden. She will not break her dung up, she will leave the dung around the midden. The male will then come back, pick up that dung scent and try and follow the female. If a male wants to challenge the male, that other male comes into the rhino's territory, comes to his midden, defecates in his midden, breaks it up, and that would be a sort of a challenge for the other rhino.
So guys, we found some wild dog tracks. The one in the circle there, they're being followed by a lot of hyenas. Remember in our first video we showed you how the hyenas were following the dogs. So this whole road is just littered with wild dogs and hyena tracks moving up and down the road here. Try and show you if I can get a nice example of a hyena track. Here's actually a good example of the dog. And then there's a hyena. You can see them side by side. That's a hyena,
And this is the dog, wild dog. See, the hyena is much more at an angle, 45-degree angle, and much bigger, much rounder.
Yeah, after quite a lot of driving and seeing just general game and stuff, we've managed to find a lone bull buffalo. Everyone will know these guys as a dugger boy. Dugger in the local language means mud. Why they call them dugger boys? They're always alone, they're always lying in the mud, or they might be in twos or threes. But if you're walking in the bush, this is probably the most dangerous animal to bump into on foot, is a male buffalo. In herds they're not as bad as these lone bull buffaloes. Why these lone bull buffaloes are so bad and so dangerous is because they're away from the herd, they don't have the protection of the herd, and any threat that they do feel, they always run or chase. They don't give you any warning sign. If you're walking, they will just run straight at you. I always say to my guests, they look like your bank manager, they look at you like you owe them something. Very, very aggressive animal when he's by himself. Often gets targeted by lions, that's why.
You'll notice he has these bare patches of skin alongside his eyes. Still quite unclear what causes that, but it could possibly be mite infestations, or even from when flies sit alongside his eye there, he'll flick his ears forward, and the ears connecting with the skin there will, over time, especially with a buffalo of his age, start to remove the hair away from that area.
Also not a giraffe.
No giraffe today. Beautiful herd of impala.
Myself and Alistair were just commenting on how we had not seen any giraffe that morning, and that was quite strange. We, just before the lodge, managed to find this nice group. Look at this beautiful dark colored male, very dark pigmentation. He was following some of the females around. What also made it very nice was there was two giraffe resting on the open clearing. When they do rest, they often rest standing up under the shade of a tree, or they will lie down like this, but their neck will always be up, just to keep a lookout, see if anything's approaching them. But also importantly, when they do rest, they ruminate. So they wouldn't be able to rechew the cud if their neck was flying down. They could actually choke. Everyone, thanks for joining us again. We weren't able to find any of those large predators we were looking for, but still managed to get in some nice sightings out there. Myself and Alistair will be heading out again this afternoon. Try and maybe, if we're lucky, find a leopard. So please join us and see if we do.